What is going on, Automotive Blockchain channel? Glad you're getting on the bus. I wanted to apologize right up front for the shaky camera. I know I could get one of those little things that you can keep the camera steady. So for those of you that have a little bit of a motion type of sensitivities, Blair Witch kind of thing is what I call it, just go ahead and listen to the audio. It's going to be worth it. I wanted to just talk a little bit about something that I know many of you that have tuned into this sort of technology in this channel and many other channels like it, called the Great Reset. And every single time perhaps you've heard of it, it's had something to do with the economy, of the digital economy, the financial industry. You've also heard of great transformation, maybe as it pertains to the food industry and supply chain associated with that, food manufacturing, and the Great Reset, the Great Transformation, or whatever the powers that be choose to call this thing, it's going to affect all lives. And one of the things that I started thinking about, and if you haven't tuned in real quick, you notice that I'm walking backwards. I've been doing this for about almost a half mile now, kind of off and on, but mostly, I guess full-time, about almost a half mile. Part of the time I've been walking forward. But I was doing this because I started thinking a little bit about this Great Reset and thinking about my personal health, and I tune into a guy that's on YouTube and he talks about knee strengthening. And sometimes when you're going through certain types of pain, certain types of anguish in your life, you got to think backwards, because the way that you've been doing things all along has been wrong. And as everybody can kind of figure out in the world, this past 2020, going into this year, things just seemed backwards, didn't they? Well, you had to readjust things and do things that you weren't used to, and kind of think outside of the boxes that you may have put yourself in, or that others have put you in order to get through mentally, get through emotionally, get through physically. And in that, you had to do, in many cases, for a lot of you out there, a personal Great Reset. Some of it came at a great loss to many of you. Some of it came through unscathed at all. But that being said, you know that your personal Great Resets that you may have had to do had to happen. And such is the thing that's going to be happening now with this reset that's going on. Mobility is key, and as I'm doing what I can here to strengthen my knees and strengthen the posterior chain and strengthen my anterior tibialis just to get better knee strength, I thought about this and I said, you know, sometimes it comes down to how does that affect the mobility of the things that we are driving in. And you know very well that the automotive industry is changing. You see the electric cars that have been coming out, at least here in the US. One of the biggest ones that people had focused on was what? It was the Prius many, many years ago. And more vehicles have become electric. Tesla came out and is booming, not just in this country, but pretty much around the world. I think it's like the third largest, or definitely in the top 5, I believe, of electric vehicles being sold in China. And it's about the changing in mobility of things that you drive. And there's a great reset going on in the automotive industry where they will start, in my opinion, incentivizing you more and more to make the great switch. So the gas that you've been driving in these vehicles, those are all changing. You may not have seen it in the news yet, but I can guarantee you this, is that there's going to be a big change in the type of car you drive over the next 10 years. So if it's not the car you're driving now, more than likely the one that you're going to trade in and exchange, it's going to be a big deal. So I walk backwards for my own personal health, but I want you to start thinking about, during this Great Reset, what are you doing to make the change? See, where I come from and what I believe, there was a certain man by the name of Paul on the road to Damascus, and he had to go through a great reset to get knocked off his horse by a big bright light and walk the rest of the way in order to get to a greater reset. And for many of you all around the world, you may know of a person by the name of MLK Jr. He also did many walks and had a lot of people following him too, in order to make a great reset and to help bring on a great reset in life. And so that's just something that you have to start thinking about, is what sort of paths are you going to have to walk down, and you may have to approach them a little more backwards than what you used to in order to get through this new great reset that's coming along, and it's inevitable. Think about your food, think about your family, think about your personal mobility, your financial mobility. And in my opinion, and this is not financial advice, but you should do some research into digital assets. the mobility side of things and the vehicle side of things, yes, ONT is one of them. Ocean Protocol, another one, good industry to look at. Definitely along with IOTA, and definitely Singularity Net in my opinion. But these are going to be things you're going to have to research. You know, don't necessarily take my advice for financial purposes, but you know, if you've paid attention to the dips over the past 3 weeks or so, some of you, if you've listened to my videos, you ended up faring pretty well. So that being said, hey, take care. Look forward to seeing you along as you reset your financial mobility, coming into your own personal great reset. Have a good one.